Hey everyone, it's Radek, and I'm going to show you my latest trade route, hopefully to help you out. I'm out at Whirlage Terminal, and I'm running Palladium. Uh, it's a bit of a haul out here, so I'm going to show you kind of the cool part of the haul first, and then show you the long part of the haul. You need a little bit of money on this. You need about 2.7 million if you're going to make as much as I'm making on this run. So let's go ahead and get started. You'll notice that I'm really kind of staying away from bulletin boards. This is just a pure money-making sort of route. It's my maximum jump distance, which is 16.5 light years. I'm going with Samarkash. And this route you'll see is very profitable one way and not really profitable on the other way.
Engines engaged.
However,
Landing gear
on
retracted.
the other ways, in other words, on the trip out to Whirlage here, it's relatively uneventful if you have a decent size
Hull integrity compromised.
FPL drive at reasonable speed. So, that makes it kind of beneficial, right? Being able to AFK a little bit, if you want to take the risk. I'm kind of in a situation where I can kind of AFK close to my computer, do a couple things for about 5 to 8 minutes, and then come back and land. And that's a nice thing to have when you're trying to build up a lot of credits and run over things a period of time. In this short sort of span of time that I've been working on this just today, somewhere near like 12 million credits, and so I'm making it's a little over 1 million, close to 2 million an hour. So that's nice. What's nice about it is that it's consistent. So consistency allows you to kind of do some planning and work things around it, and ultimately will lead you to running the route more and making more money. Again, I'm sure that I could jump around, find better routes. Even in this route here, I'm sure there's a better overall trade, like a 3-way trade or a 4 or 5-way trade or something. And if you're watching this, and you should look for that if you want more money. Certainly you could get more efficient than what you're seeing here. But the point here is that sometimes you don't have to be perfect, right? This is just a nice way to make some quick money. I make 600,000 on a round trip, and that's nice for the size boat that I'm in right now. So, all right. So as you see, we're heading out to McNair Gateway, and even that's a bit of a haul, right? So it's not as close as some other systems are, right, when you jump in. And this is, of course, where you have to be the most concerned with piracy. I'm running Palladium here, almost 3 million in cargo, and that's something that pirates are going to look for. However, as you may know, I'm in a fully upgraded T7, and I'm designed in a way to be as light as possible. So I'm as fast as I can possibly be, and at the same time, I have the best drives and things like that. Now you got to sacrifice a little bit in order to do that. I don't run with shields. I got rid of all my weapons, and there's a cost to that. So I've accepted that at some point I may have to pay insurance. I may have to pay for loss of cargo. Right? That's just sort of you call that the cost of doing business. But the point being is that by doing that, ultimately at the end of the day, you're going to make more money. You shouldn't be getting pulled over all the time. You should get better at interdicting. If you're struggling with interdicting, I really encourage you to look into yaw and pitch. Those two things, which are both, as you can see, that's all yaw and pitch right there, doable while you're in Super Cruise. Really make the difference between being interdicted and not being interdicted. So look for that. It's going to help you out. So, again, this is just meant to give some folks a leg up on trading. So I've been trading for a month. Started playing on Christmas Day, and traded my way up to the high-end Type 7 that you see now. I have enough money to buy the next ship, which is the Python, but I need to be able to upgrade it for insurance, buy cargo, and so all those things. So what you're seeing me do right now is essentially just trying and make up money so that I can then go fly off to UDE and buy my next ship. So exciting times. So alright, again, this is McNair Gateway. As you'll see, my buddy Fonzie is also making money off Palladium. So I like to spread this information out to as many people as I can. I believe that the most successful ways that traders can be is by helping each other, really holding a route to yourself and not sharing that route is kind of counterintuitive to the whole trading sort of way of being, right? You want to be secretive and crap like that. You know, be a pirate, I guess. I like that traders are very open with their network and traders look to help each other out. I think it leads to a lot more success, right? You know, there's enough money in this galaxy to go around. There's no need to be greedy. So, all right, let's jump on in here and find Dr. Station 2. There she is. And you'll see that, like I said, this is where I'm going to make the most money. So this is the exciting end of the trip, and then I'll show you the way back. So you see, this was not really that far of a haul. Relatively safe. Jump right in. I do check the bulletin board here because whenever you're carrying a commodity, somebody may offer to buy your commodity, and if they do, generally it's going to be at a better rate than what you're going to sell it on the open market for. All right, let's look at the market. Here we are. There's Palladium now for 14.54. You see that? 24.28 per ton. And there's 563,000 credits in one jump. So now the less expensive, less fun part of it, but hey, important anyway, because you're running a necessary commodity out there, mineral extractors, and at the same time you're also getting yourself out there. And right, you're not doing that for free. You're going to make something out of it. Just about 58,000, which again is nothing at all, but I just made 568,000. So as you can see, that puts you well over it. The other advantage, as you're going to notice on the second half here, is that you have a long flight and you're not carrying an expensive commodity. So that's why I said you can actually AFK, right? Because I'm carrying a cheap commodity, flying out to a station. The only thing I'm going to be worried about is someone who's going to drop me out of Super Cruise so that they can simply kill me because they're trying to make a name for themselves. And I understand that those people do exist, and you got to watch out for that. But that's also something that I can call an added risk. I happen to like the idea that I can AFK a bit while I play. There's some games like this, to me, actually, it's more fun, right? So, you know, a normal person like anyone else, got things around the house has to be done. You know, easy to do laundry, right? When I can jump away for 8 minutes. You know, easy to do all sorts of things for a 5 to 8 minute period of time. There's all sorts of things you can get done and get accomplished. So, you know, again, that's what makes this cool, is that this really lends itself to multitasking, so that you don't just end up, you know, sucked into the game. Anyways, if you're wondering how I discovered this route, I really just followed the Galnet. So, you know, if you recognize the name of this system, it may be because this is what they've been advertising, that they're selling cheap ships, 10% discount for a week or whatever it was. So I just went out and was like, well, hey, I wonder, you know, if they have anything good. And so I looked up in the trade tool that I use. I use two different ones. I use both Slopies, and I use Thruds as well. So I just kind of looked them both up, and they were both showing Palladium being sold here for just a very, very low rate. And then, you know, you just had to see how far it was to something else. It started off as a 2-jump little venture. Eventually upgraded the drive and found a better place to sell. And lo and behold, here we are, 1 jump and a relatively short round trip. And like I said, making over 600,000 on jump, and it's consistent, right? So here we are. Generally at this point in time, what I do, just so I know what I got going on, is I'll set my stopwatch for a good 8 minutes. So that's how long you got. If you're watching this and you want to jump ahead and not listen to me talk for the next 8 minutes, feel free to do so, and you'll see where I land, which again is just Worldwich Terminal. Really, that's the trip. So that's over 600,000. What I'm imagining would be somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 minutes. So, anyways, so I'm at a bit of a decision point, if you will, in the game. So I've got a T7 right now, and T7 can hold 232 cargo, and next ship is a Python. Well, the Python can hold 292 cargo, but it doesn't have the ability to upgrade to the light drive that I have in this to make this particular run I have a single jump. So, as I mentioned, making all this money every 15 minutes, I think I'll increase it, of course, for more cargo. But at the same time, it's interesting how the game starts to kind of change things a bit. Now, the Python, a couple of you more experienced players are probably already saying, has an advantage actually over the T7 that kind of makes it the deciding factor. And that being that the Python is a medium-sized ship. It's not large, so it can land on medium-sized pads. That's huge. There's a number of locations out there, particularly for your higher and more expensive luxury elements, and just elements in general. Not luxury elements, just your more expensive elements. There's quite a few of them out there that are medium pads only. And I've actually I lost, somewhere in the neighborhood of 300,000 credits because I had a Type 7 and not a medium ability craft. I took on a mission that was going to award me a good amount for taking gold out to a dock. Didn't think to check the dock ahead of time, and well, couldn't land there. I was like, oh. So I had to abandon the mission. Well, once you abandon the mission, your items become stolen. Well, I foolishly abandoned the mission while I was outside of a space station, so now I had stolen gold with me. Yep. And when I abandoned the mission, I got hit with a 150,000 credit fine. So I got hit with the fine. Then when I flew to the next station, I got scanned, and I got hit with like another 150,000 credit fine. So like in the end, it ended up costing me 300,000 credits. Funny thing, that's not the worst of the mishaps that I had. In fact, not one thing with trading again is that as you're seeing here with me flying straight out, right? AFK, I do things like this that really take me away from paying attention to piloting my game, piloting my ship, right? Pirate come grab me right now. If I was, there are times I'm far enough away, I wouldn't notice. This guy could probably blow me up. It's not like I have shields or anything. So, but that's the sort of risk you take. So anyways, I was docking, coming in a little bit too fast. Well, too fast. I was full throttle and boosting into a dock. And I took the top half of my ship off. Ended up, cost me the insurance, which on this thing is 1.5 million credits. In addition to the insurance, I was running around with full cargo boatload of palladium. So I lost 2.7 million credits worth of palladium. And so, there you go. There's all of those with 4 million credits. You lose right there. So, it happens. Like I said, it happened to me pretty recently, especially as last night. And you just, you fly faster, you fly not faster, you fly a little slower, you fly a little more, you fly better. It teaches you to play better. So, it's interesting. I was kind of going back and forth between do I upgrade to the Python or do I take some of my money here and put it into a combat ship and do some combat work. I've actually gone through a couple of combat ships so far. I had a Cobra and a Viper, and I think it's just something with flying the bigger ships. I, I just don't. I can't go back to those smaller ships. I don't enjoy flying them as much. These big boats are a lot more fun, at least in my mind. So I think what I'm just gonna do is just keep upgrading to larger ones of these until I get to a place where I have a Type 9, which Type 9s are 73 million. So for me to get Type 9, I really need probably about 100 million credits, right? And then once I have the Type 9, then I can start trying to get to an Anaconda. And I don't think I will get rid of the Type 9. I'll keep both the Type 9 and just buy an Anaconda straight out. But I think that's where I'm going to go at this point. I think I'll stay away from combat until I can get an Anaconda. And then once I can get an Anaconda, I'll just jump into combat. Well, that'll be fun for me at least. So I don't know how much it'll be fun for the pirates that I'll be chasing down, but it'll be fun either way. So if you're listening to me talk, then I assume you're enjoying these videos that I'm putting out. So just know I'll continue to kind of release these as I find new trade routes or find new cool things that I think that these are cool in the game. I enjoy making them, and I enjoy talking about this game. It's a lot of fun, and like I said with trading, I really like I really like sharing routes, and I'll put that out there too. If any of you here are listening and you have trade routes that you want to share, you want to make a video, let me know. And I'm relatively new with this whole YouTube channel stuff, but there's a way for me to post my video or your video on my channel. I'd be glad to do that. Or if you have your own channel and you want to link up with mine, I'm glad to do that. So just send me a note or something, or a message or whatever. There's all sorts of ways to contact me. I am Commander Radek. Again, the game right now is a little weird when it comes to multiplayer, but if you want to add me to your friends list or whatever, feel free. Again, I'm just trying to socialize as much as I can out there and bring myself into the community a bit. So that's pretty much it. As you see, we're getting kind of close, but believe it or not, we're still a good minute out from any real big interaction. We'll just go ahead and center ourselves here and re-correct course. You gotta appreciate that you can see that the objects are not static in the galaxy, right? So just because I set a course and walk away doesn't mean that I instantly get to where I need to go. It's not that my ship is moving or something like that. It's everything else is moving, right, as well. So another thing about why I AFK and why I'm able to do this is that you'll notice I'm traveling at a very high rate of speed. Now, one thing I've noticed over time is I normally look for players, right? So over time I've noticed is that when I get interdicted, I'm either interdicted at the very beginning of this sort of trip, or I'm interdicted at the very end of this sort of trip. You don't get really caught in the middle. It doesn't happen. You're moving far too fast for someone to come up behind you most of the time and interdict you. Now, again, if you don't have an upgraded FTL, or maybe somebody else has a faster ship, but I can't. That's the game, right? But for the most part, on average, you're not going to get caught from behind. It's going to be from the beginning to the end of the trip. So keep that in mind, that you have that opportunity, and that also is something that's supposed to lend itself to a trading experience. So, one thing I noticed here, kind of weird, I get weird lag at the Super Cruise on this run. Once I'm out of Super Cruise, it's fine, it goes away, but it's definitely weird. I suspect it's because of the population of players that are all running this right now. This is one of the more populous zones, one of the more populous places to be. I'm pretty sure this is near a starting area, if it's not a starting area. And, like I said, that's probably why it's so much more laggy than everywhere else. See, as you can, well, I know my video sometimes maybe becomes choppy, so if this looks a little bit more choppy than usual, that's because, as I mentioned, some odd lag problems that go with the Super Cruise. 7. Now, unfortunately, I've read about, the sale is going to end, so I don't know if the sale ends, if that means palladium's going to go back up in cost. If I understand what, again, sometimes things are lost in translation, but, they indicated, at least when I was reading the local news here, that the markets were down and that palladium was actually down. So, to me, that bodes well. The lower palladium is here, the cheaper we sell it everywhere else, right? So, as you see. All right. So here we go. This is really the final part of our trip here. And we're going to see that we're not going to make a lot of money on this end of it. But obviously is necessary to the large sum of money on the front end of the trip. So, thanks a lot for watching. Hope you enjoyed it.
Docking request
If people
granted.
keep watching and stuff and like this, like listen to what I have to say, I'll start expanding topics. There's so much to talk about in this game. We can definitely delve into different subjects. So, or we can stick to trade routes. Again, if you guys have trade routes, you got trade routes you want me to test out, to run, to show other people about, let me know. Again, right? Traders helping traders. That's how we can do this and conquer the pirates. Enable all of you to get some pirate killing boats so that we can
Landing gear deployed.
blast the scourge of piracy from the galaxy once and for all. That would be fantastic. Yeah. Anyways. Alright, so I'm ready to dock up here and take a look at the
Docking
markets
successful.
and see where we're at.
Engines disengaged.
Here we back are, World Bridge Terminal. So, like I said, fuel up, commodities market, and we finish up with the mineral extractors. Sell those. We're not going to get a whole lot for them. Right? 58,000 though, not bad. And we're at 29.2. So, thanks again for watching. See y'all later.